It was machine generated, etc. This trend, that doesn't explain this trend we are seeing, right? So genuinely, there are more web pages, right? So, at an underlying level, so I think that's an interesting phenomenon. I think everybody as a creator, like you do at Verge, I think today if you're doing stuff, you have to do it in a cross-platform, cross-format way. I look at the quality of video content you put out. It's very sophisticated, right? And very different from how Verge used to be maybe 5 to 10 years ago, right? It's profoundly changed. So I think things are becoming more dynamic, cross-format. I think another thing people are underestimating with AI is AI will make it zero friction to move from one format to another, right? Because our models are natively multimodal. We kind of tease people's imagination with audio overviews in NotebookLM, right? The fact you can throw a bunch of documents at it, and you have a podcast and you can join and learn from it. So I think this notion, the static moment of like, you produce content by format, whereas I think machines can help translate it from, it's almost like different languages, and they can go seamlessly between, I think is one of the incredible opportunities to be unlocked right ahead. And so, but maybe I didn't want to drift from the question we were having, but look, I think people are producing a lot of content, and I see consumers consuming a lot of content, and we see it in our products. Others are seeing it too. So that's how I would probably answer at the highest level.
The way I see it currently is that the web is at an all-time high as an application platform, right? The fact that Figma exists and is as successful as it is, and its primary interface is as a web app is, I think, remarkable. A lot of the products you are talking about are expressed as web apps. Even some of the most interesting search results you showed yesterday are, Google would generate a custom web app for you and display it in a search result to do some data visualization. I think that's all looking incredible. I think the web as a transaction platform is reaching new highs, especially with rulings that mean smartphone makers have to let people push transactions to the web. There's something very interesting happening there. As a media platform, it feels like it's at an all-time low. Right. If I was starting the Verge,
web as a media platform.
The web as a media platform, as an information platform. If I was starting the Verge today, with 11 of my co-founder and friends, we would start a TikTok channel. We might start a YouTube channel. We would definitely not start a website with the dependencies we have as a website today. And that's the dynamic that it feels like AI is pushing on even harder.
I'm not fully sure I agree. Right. I think if you were to go and restart Verge again, I bet you would start you would have an extraordinary web presence.
At best, no, I've thought about this a lot. I think at best, our web presence would look like a Substack or a Ghost or something, right?
Maybe. Look, I'm not fully sold on that. But the space. I acknowledge that space better than I do. So I don't mean to be. I don't have that intuition which you do here. But look, I see. In fact, you say the web application platform is an all-time high. But I've looked, I was vibe coding with Replit a few weeks ago. The power of what you're going to be able to create on the web, we haven't given that power to developers in 25 years. So that is going to come ahead. So, it's not exactly clear to me. Maybe today you're looking at it and say, I wouldn't put all the investment in because it looks like a lot of investment to do that. But that may not be true 2 years out, right? Like, if you feel like you would create a TikTok channel, then, maybe with like 2% extra effort, if you could have a robust web presence, why wouldn't you, right? And so I'm not fully, I'm not fully sold on it, but I think it's a good question to ask. But, you have to somehow reconcile that with the fact that overall, web traffic seems to be growing. We see more web pages so somewhere we have to explain all of that too.
The publisher